Carlos, my man, the man of 10,558 impressions. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. Thank you so much for how you doing.
No. Thank you for coming on. I'm doing well.
Absolutely.
I'm doing well. I
Good.
will say, before we start, I do have a gripe to pick with you. I do.
Okay, go ahead, please.
I do.
What's the gripe? What
The
accent
Peru
did I not do
impression,
right? Tell me.
my man, the Peru impression, man, that shit was garbage. I'm sorry. I'm
Hey,
sorry.
listen, man. I don't. It's not that. Look, I did it as a joke for me because everybody was like, "Do Peru, do Peru." Listen, buddy. I'm sorry. All I know is all I erased myself through was Laura. So that's all I know. It's not even desgraciado. That's all I know. So and then everybody messaged me like, "You gotta say causa. You gotta say this. You gotta say that."
Yeah,
Yeah.
Laura's hardcore. I'll tell you that. I
Yeah.
was raised on her too, yo. She doesn't play.
I was. I mean, I watched that with my grandma all the time. So that's how that's the only Peru that I knew.
She was like the first. She was like the first bad bitch I ever laid my eyes on.
I mean, listen, I agree, man. Those pantsuits were popping. I'm not gonna lie.
I was talking about the personality, but sure, we'll go.
Oh, yeah, no, the personality is great too, man.
Nah. She was bad though.
Yeah. Way to put me in that hole. Thank you.
Some might say she still is. You know.
I agree.
I think she's a cougar too. So Laura, if you're listening,
for sure, man.
Hit my line.
Yeah.
I know she's looking for a little young cub. So
I'm sure, dude.
She probably.
El desgraciado soy yo. You know what I'm saying?
I'll be the desgraciado. No problem.
That's what I'm saying. I'll be the desgraciado.
As long as she gives you my little allowance, we're straight. I'll do whatever you want me to be.
You know how much money she has, dude? Oh my god.
Yeah.
She's like the Dr. Phil. I don't even know. She's the Maury. She's everything in one of like the Latin America. Or Cristina. Like she's you know.
That's so true. Yeah. She was a little bit of everything.
She was. That's the thing.
It was like Park Caso Cerrado, but like she gave you good advice. So you're like, wait,
right.
Wait, is
it was good advice, but it was like almost like slapping you in the face with it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right. I like the aggressiveness though.
Me too, man. That's what's great. I love all those shows. Caso Cerrado is such a. I mean, it's a guilty pleasure whenever I see that show. It's great.
Yeah. I love it. Enrique, he like kissed her a couple years ago. And,
what?
Yeah, like on the mouth and shit. Yeah, and I was looking.
Oh,
I was like, damn,
nice.
lucky son of a bitch.
Quite lucky. Wait, Laura or Ana Maria Apolo?
Doctor Apolo.
Doctor Apolo. Wow, that's damn. Okay, good for him. That's a whole vibe. Yeah.
I was jealous. That's bucket list right there. I would put that on my resume.
For sure. On your resume.
Yeah, kiss.
But you could say my boss kissed.
Yeah. I don't have a degree, but I've kissed Dr. Apolo. So
that will do it, man. Yeah,
that would do it. That's a doctor right there.
For sure.
She's a doctor. You know.
Well, true. Yeah, you passes down through you with the kiss. Now you are a doctor too.
Exactly. Yeah. That and herpes. Hopefully not, but you never know.
Oh well, I hope she doesn't have that because then Enrique probably has that too. So that's a whole problem.
It's tough. It's rough out here. You know how it is.
Yeah.
How's it feel? How's it feel to go viral on TikTok? How'd you go viral first? Was it first on TikTok?
Yeah, man, it was super random. I posted that video on my story. I was in New York. A lot of people think like, oh, well, where were you? I don't even recognize that place. Because I was in New York. I was visiting my sister who lives in New York. I was with some friends of hers, and she was telling them like, oh yeah, my brother's an actor, comedian. He can do voices, and honestly, I don't consider myself as someone that like can do incredible impressions. I just can like kind of wave myself through them, not even like accents, just impressions in general. And then I was just like, my friend, my sister's friend, just like started recording for her Snapchat, and she was like, "Okay, I'm gonna ask you different accents, and you're gonna do them." And I was like, "All right, I'll try it out." And then she just did it, and then it came out how it did. Obviously, none of them are perfect. I don't even think I wasn't even gonna post that because I was like, I don't even think these are that great, to be honest.
No, I will say no. Those are really good. Like they were really good.
Thank you. Half the internet disagrees with you, but thank you.
No, I know. They're really good. Like most of them were really like you were there, you know. And I think the impression is like impressions aren't funny if they're spot on. You know, you have to find the exaggeration in it. You know,
absolutely, yeah. That's
so like I'll imitate my mom, and I sound nothing like my mom, but the family laughs because I exaggerate whatever the fuck my mom does.
Yeah,
you know?
It's like a little thing about it that maybe you have to like put it to 100. You know.
Exactly. Yeah. So you're like imitating an Argentinian, and you say "che" after every third word, and you don't.
Of course. I know they don't say that after every third word, but like you know, it is what it is.
As an example.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
dude. Yeah. So I posted that on my story like 2 months ago. I got a bunch of replies on my DMs, and they're like, "Oh, this is so funny" or whatever. And then randomly, I was like, I had just nothing to post. Like I usually try to post 2 times a week on my Instagram. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna post that video, that accent thing, because like, why not? And then I edited it for TikTok, and I posted it on TikTok. And I actually went to do an open mic, and I was like, I'm gonna just leave this here. Didn't expect anything. I only had like 100 followers on TikTok. I didn't expect much to happen.
Yeah.
This was like literally a month ago, December 4th, 5th. And then, yeah, I posted it on TikTok. I got to the open mic. I did my set. I was talking to these people. And then I opened my phone, and I had like just a bunch of notifications. Like it was like a 350 likes on the matter of an hour, which is not much, but I was like, oh, wow, this is crazy. I have most likes I've ever got on a video, at least.
Right.
And then posted it on TikTok. That happened. And then I got home, and it was at 14,000 likes. And I was like, oh my God, what's happening here? This is not, and then everybody commenting like, oh, this is hilarious. Or like, he failed to Colombia, and that's not from Colombia, that's from Medellin. And I'm like, yeah, all these different things. Yeah. So it was just pretty funny. And then I was just like, I'm gonna post this on Instagram. Why not? Like, why not? Like, whatever. Posted it on Instagram, and then Only in Dade just reposted it. And then apart from Only in Dade, Being Latino, who has like 2 million followers, reposted it. No Chill Latino, a bunch of other sites that are like Latino based ended up posting the video, asking people how I did or whatever. And then, yeah, man, it just kind of just blew up from there. On TikTok, it has like 5 million views right now.
Yeah, TikTok's crazy because I feel like TikTok is kind of like the Wild West.
It is, dude.
You know, there's a lot of people like that like they'll post something randomly, and they'll be like, oh, well, I'll just post it, and you wake up and it's like 14,000 followers. It's like, what?
I had no idea how this happened. Yeah.
I have a friend, she got on TikTok, and she was like doing like the dances or whatever.
Sure.
And then she
Which
found her audience.
I will pledge to never have to do. But yeah.
What happened?
I will pledge to never have to do, but if I have to, I will dance.
I was like that too. And then my sister was like, you want to do a dance? And I was like, sure. Okay.
Hey.
And I'm hooked. I'm learning all of them. It's crazy. But my friend, she started doing like the dances, and she found her audience, which is prepubescent boys.
Well, that's half of TikTok is. So,
that's her audience. Now she has thousands of followers, yo.
I bet.
More than on IG, more than on Twitter, more than on Facebook. Because she found her audience, and she found like sort of her niche, you know, prepubescent boys. So I always remind her.
Yeah.
I was like, how's it feel that you're like the first one for like middle schoolers? And she goes, what do you mean? I go, yeah, like you're the first one, you know?
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's the girl that I got a crush on. Yeah.
Exactly. That's the girl I got the crush on. You know, when middle schoolers start taking a shit for like 45 minutes, out of nowhere.
That's kind of a thing. Yeah.
You know,
your poor sister, man.
3-hour showers. You know,
I get it.
You know, and then she didn't think about it like that.
Well, no one does. Yeah.
So
except the prepubescent boys.
Okay,
you know
that's what I'm saying. But yeah, TikTok's the Wild West. That's why I really like it, because I feel like TikTok, even though there are niches like on Instagram, so there's like food Instagram, there's like car Instagram,
right.
There's
comedians or whatever,
comedy Instagram. On TikTok, there's like sub categories.
Oh, dude, it's the weirdest thing in the world, dude. I call it. I was talking to someone about it, and it almost feels like TikTok is like a mob. Like there's like mobs out there, and then this little mob. It like kind of was like when I posted that video, or when you post a video that they like or the algorithm considers worthy, they're like, okay, here you have a little open door now. Take it away. It's all yours. And then you're like, because it just really feels like that. You can post anything. You could. I take hours editing sketches, editing little things like for my podcast. I edit little clips, and none of that ever has gone viral. But this little video I did in New York doing accents without me even trying that, like to actually make it a thing, you know, blows up, and then anything you post from there, it kind of goes.
I mean, but that's the thing that I've noticed with going viral. It's like if you wake up, right, and you're like, today I'm gonna do something that is gonna make me go viral. Son, you're not gonna get past.
You're out. You're done. You're ahead.
You're out, and you didn't even pick up the bat yet.
Before even starting. Yeah.
You know. Yeah. But you know, when you just do shit that like you just normally do, you find that's where most people start to go viral. It's just shit that they're like, Okay, sure. Let's post it. Some posts where I
Whatever,
look
yeah.
at, like on Instagram, I take more importance. I look at shares more than I look for likes.
Right. Right.
Because like, and it's a tip to anybody out there that's trying to like
100%.
use Instagram better. Likes, they don't mean shit, but because it's like your content's not going anywhere.
Right.
But
it's just staying in your page. No one's following you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But a save, a share, it does.
Well, they're worth millions. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, it helps. It's like 6 times what a like is. So like,
right.
Sometimes people tell me, they're like, but why do you post this? Why do you post that? You only got like 15 likes. I go, yeah, but look at the shares. And it'll be like 400 shares, 500 shares.
No way, really?
It's like, that's what you look for. Because if you think about
look at your insights through there. Yeah.
Right. Because if you think about it, a lot of people, including like I do this all the time. I'll see stuff that I like, and I just won't like it. I just won't like it. Just because it's like,
I do that too. Yeah, without even trying. Like I might like the post, I might even like laugh or whatever, and I might not even realize I didn't like the post.
Exactly. But a share kind of shows commitment, because you gotta click share, you gotta click
on your story
thing, you gotta pick who you're gonna send it to, you gotta send it, boom. That's why I always tell everybody, I go, fuck your likes.
Share me off. Yeah.
Share me off. Share me off as much as you want. Okay?
Seriously.
I'm a share whore. And do whatever you want with it. Yeah.
I know. It's true. Like in your insights, you can see it. Like you look at those accent videos that I posted, or even like the last sketch that I posted, it has more shares than likes. And that's the goal. It holds so much more value, because that's how you increase your follower count. People see you, people like, and then
likes. I like is when you get a like on a post, I think that's vanity. But when you get a share, you left an impression, because it's like, this is funny enough that I'm gonna take the 4 seconds to share.
These other people, or even to people's stories, which they're showing it to everybody, which is even more powerful.
Exactly. Do you look at shit different now? Do you look at stuff and you're like, oh, I can do that. That works. Or this could be the next one. Is it kind of nerve-wracking, or not nerve-wracking, but like, do you drive yourself insane a little bit? Because that happens to me sometimes.
Sure. I am the most insane I've been ever. Like I'm so like, I'm super appreciative of all this stuff. Like I'm super thankful that like I doubled, or like my follower count on Instagram, that I have like the 38,000 followers on TikTok, and all this stuff that's been like coming through because of this video and getting more recognition in Miami in general. But of course it's overwhelming. It's definitely something that you're like, well, now I'm here, so now I got to keep on creating. I got to do I got to do something else. I'm not just going to be
now. It's like, what's next?
I'm way more than this. You know what I mean? So then it's like trying to find that next thing I'm gonna post, whether it's like maybe I post a stand-up clip next, or maybe I just keep on posting sketches like I had been before this went viral, which I was doing from before. So it's just that you see, like, now I see things a lot differently, because I do feel that sense of like almost responsibility to the people that follow me, because I'm like, I want to put out good content, not just content for the sake of like, it's been 3 days since I haven't posted anything. You know what I mean?
Right. So, and that's and I think a lot of people, they fall into that rabbit hole of, they're like, okay, but it's been like 4 days, so now I just got to post anything. It goes, no, you got to post your
quality
best. So
stuff, man.
Maybe,
because then you'll lose followers, because they're like, what the hell is this?
Exactly. It's like, you're an idiot, So sometimes it's like, okay, you don't post for like a week, but the next thing that you're going to post needs to be pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's why I tell a lot of people, I go, and this is something I've been getting a lot recently. It's like, people go, you just post whatever you want, right? I go, mainly, because they're like, I see that you post like a lot of like memes and like stuff that isn't like super like superficial. Like how normally you see IG, where it's like people take the perfect picture with the perfect filter.
It's you post sort of like as you go, is what you're saying. Like you post kind of what you.
For me, I see it as that, because I'm not an Insta model.
Right.
And I don't. And so it's like, why do I have to post only when I look great? Because not everybody looks great all the time. It's fake.
True.
What I'm saying?
In that video, I was sweaty as hell. I was saying things while I had just eaten a bunch of tacos. You know what I mean? That's half the reason I didn't post it. I'm not even kidding. That's half the reason I didn't post it, because I was like, I don't even look good in here. And then,
I'll tell you, when I eat some good food, I start sweating. I'm drenched.
Yeah, dude. Oh, 100%.
Yo, I'm done at a restaurant and it looks like I worked out, and people will be like, "Damn, did you go to the gym?" Like I smell it.
Yeah.
I go, "No,
Dude,
bro. I just ate a double cheeseburger and that shit was fire."
Like the opposite. I gained some calories, but that shit was work. You're putting in work too. You know what I mean?
It's work, yo. It's work. How's
Yeah,
the comedy? How's the comedy going? I haven't touched the microphone since March.
Well, you have one now, but you mean out in a stage, I guess.
No, I mean on a stage. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, gotcha.
On air, obviously.
No, but of course, but
yeah. But you know what I mean.
I get it. I was being silly.
How's the scene?
It's good, honestly, man. I didn't do it. So Miami comedy, the rounds that we go through in Brickell, ran by Manny. Garavito, that's kind of like what I started doing stand up through that scene and that circuit, right? So the first thing that I was like, I hadn't done stand up all of 2020, well, since March all the way to October, right? I was just focusing on putting content out. I started putting my focus on that, putting a podcast together, doing all these different things that I've been doing. I kind of started, just like everybody, like trying to move to the digital scene even more, because before I was just doing shows every weekend, whether it was improv or stand up or whatever. But in October, that kind of popped off, and Manny was able to bring the mics back, etc. I felt a little safer. I know COVID is still around, but if we wore a mask and if we changed the microphone little condom thing we put on it or whatever,
the mic
condom.
I had an experience with a mic condom.
You did? Yeah.
I went out with some friends for my birthday. We ate outside. It was super chill. We got tested and we were straight, whatever.
Good.
And then, no, because I know these motherfuckers about to DM me. Oh, what the fuck? No,
yeah. Why? You went out? Yeah.
I was being safe.
Good.
And then the kitchen and the bar closed mad early. It was like 9 o'clock. And I got there at 8. So afterwards, there's this place and they're doing karaoke, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'm half drunk. I'm finna do some karaoke." And they had the little mic condom, and I was like, "Oh,
you do though." I mean, we're staying safe with it. I don't know how safe it really is, but it is what it is.
It makes me feel safe. I had my mask on too, so I thought.
As long as we feel safe at this point, that's kind of like where this stands. I think so. But yeah, the fact that came back, I started going to those shows again. There's also shows in Broward that are run by Sean Mullins, who also, I'm able to go to those as well. And I started doing that in October. Every week I would go, just like I would do before quarantine. I went Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then if there was other mics, because right now there's nothing really on Thursdays or Fridays. I would just go to like as much as I could, and it was popping. Honestly, I've developed the jokes. All the jokes that I'm doing now that I've been able to do at the Improv or Have Nots or all these different places I've been able to get booked at, I've worked for the past 2 months, all new, through that scene, and I've been able to get that receptive feedback from audiences. So
is there a lot of COVID jokes? Because I feel like I'd hang myself.
At first it was. Even for me, like I said, I only have one COVID joke that I say now, which is like my opener, and it's more of like a crowd work thing. But it's more like I guess there's some people that's still making COVID jokes, but I guess the people that have been around in the scenes after quarantine just kind of gave that up already. So
I feel like
it's probably because someone that hasn't done comedy in a little bit, and they're just trying to get their feedback up again.
Right. Yeah, I wrote one. I have one. But then I just use it as an excuse to talk about like Hispanic parties and how like we miss them.
Right.
And then it goes into like, how like when you're like at a Hispanic party and it's always at like somebody's house that you don't know, but they're like a distant relative, and then you want to use the bathroom.
Like el primo del primo. Yeah.
Always, right? And then you got to use the bathroom, and you don't know where the bathroom is, so you start opening doors, and there's always that one room that there's always just like that one random baby just like fucking asleep,
Sleeping with the grandpa next door. The grandpa and the baby are in the same room.
And grandpa and the grandpa's on the chair. The
baby's on
the bed. It's fucking
rocking each other pretty much. Yeah.
Exactly. You don't know whose fucking baby. No one knows whose baby this is. So it's just an excuse to bring up that. But that was my one fear. I was like, fuck, like I don't want to like go and then see like every comedian like just fucking COVID joke this, COVID joke that, the math.
Yeah. At first it was like that, maybe a little bit. In fact, it probably was like that before I even went back out, but it hasn't been
I
that
can
way,
imagine,
to
yeah,
be honest
probably.
with you. Yeah, to be honest with you, it hasn't been that bad. I mean, there's a few that you hear, but it's not as bad anymore. I mean, we're almost at like 9 months. How much is this? Like almost 10 months into this thing, and we're
pushing 10. We're pushing 10 months here. Yeah,
pushing 10, man. So I don't know how much longer we could keep saying COVID jokes until it becomes old. But I mean, you could. They work. I'll tell you. Yeah.
Why'd you get into comedy? What sort of pushed you to go towards that?
Man, what a question. Man,
I bring the heavy hitters.
No, so I started comedy through improv. So I started doing improv at first. I started a theater in Coral Gables called Just a Funny. In 2015, I first started. What I first wanted is I started taking classes like doing acting. I started taking classes at the Miami Acting Studio in Wynwood back in 2015, 2014. How old were you back then? 20. I'm 26 now. Yeah, so that was 26. Yes, math. 24, 2020. Yes, that was 20. I was 20 years old. I was still in college. I was still in FIU. I went to FIU for a whole other thing. Yeah, man, Panthers. Yeah,
I didn't go there, but I got a lot of friends that do, so I just say pause up whenever I hear.
Yeah, man, pause up. I always thought, or whatever. But yeah, I went there. It was fun. I really didn't enjoy what I was doing at FIU per se. I loved being part of it. But so then I was just like, what were you saying? Go ahead.
What were you studying?
I studied management information systems, which is totally different. It's like literally,
I don't even know what that is.
It's like, it's the business side of IT pretty much. So yeah, it's a little bit odd. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not
gonna lie. I mean, that means you're pretty smart, cause like.
I mean, I'm not.
Smart guy. I mean,
to do comedy, you can't be dumb either. So I guess, yeah.
That's true. That's very true. That's very true. A lot of people think comedians are stupid, and it's like, no, we gotta.
No, you're kind of doing math with words here.
I've never thought of it like that. I've honestly never thought of it like that.
Really? No, yeah. I don't know when I said that, but I'm putting that in my book, whatever.
Yo, that was cool. That was cool. I'm gonna use that now. I'm gonna be like,
I know. I'm gonna start using that now. I just thought about it.
You've heard about math? Yeah, but with words.
Well, we doing math with words, baby. Pretty much.
And then you just get quiet for a couple seconds. You let it marinate in their head, and then they're like,
oh, yeah. So it's a whole.
So you were studying the business.
I was studying management information systems.
Okay.
Which is it's like the business side of IT, pretty much. And it was fun. I liked it.
What made you want to go into that?
I went to Miami Lakes Educational Center, which is a high school that like you can do. It's like a Miami Lakes. Yeah. Let's not call it Hialeah. It's 15 minutes from Hialeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I went there, Miami Lakes Tech. Love that place. I learned a lot there, but that's it's like a technical school that you can do, like you can join an academy and you can pretty much like learn a trade, and you come out with like, apart from having a degree, like a high school degree, you come out with like certificates in whatever trade you came out of.
Yeah, I went to a high school like that. I went to a high school like that too. Yeah. But I did mine was law, because for whatever reason.
No way. I think it's broadcasting.
Ultimate universe, I wanted to be a lawyer, and then I ended up being radio host, comedian, and now I speak in memes. So it didn't, they're not real proud of me. But
no, but it's fine. I mean, you're kind of just defending yourself here, as opposed to defending anyone else. So there you go. It works nicely.
That's true. Yeah. So you go to Miami Lakes. You do this whole thing.
Yeah. I did that, and then I was in the IT academy. So in that academy, I just kind of like stuck through there. But I did take drama classes, and I loved doing we did improv in the drama class, and I was like a huge fan of it. I was like super into it. But I still obviously I stuck through with whatever I picked as my academy, and then I did that, and then I went to college for that just because it felt easy. I got FIU pays for your school. Like it was just a lot. It was just an easy choice, and I didn't really think of there's not a career in comedy. Like you can't just go to college for comedy. You could go for acting, and if you want to study theater, but I didn't really see I kind of just did it just to have a plan B, literally. Like it was just like, at least I have this. Not even a plan B, because like I still in the daytime I still work to some level of degree in that type of field, which is like IT in general. But yeah, I did that for a little while, and then in the middle of me being in FIU when I was in junior year, I was like, I kind of really want to try this. I really like the idea of me being an actor, comedian, doing entertainment is huge for me. So I went to the Man Acting Studio. I took a few classes there. No hate to them, but it was a little expensive for a 20-year-old school without a job at the time.
It always, yeah. So you always gotta be mindful and try and make sure you're not getting finessed.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying they're finessing anybody. Let's not hate here. Love those people, but
it was pricey.
It's a little expensive. It was quite pricey for what I wanted.
Pricey.
Yeah. So I went and I was like, okay, cool, great. I did it. We did some it was like the classes that I took were like romantic comedy. Like we were doing romantic comedy scenes. So I was like, oh, I like this. This is cool. Which is kind of what I saw myself as, if anything, like just comedic acting and whatever. And then a year passed. I didn't really do much of that after. And then I found this place called Just the Funny in Coral Gables, and I started taking classes there towards the end of 2015. And from there on, I took like 9 months of classes. I got really into it. I became like a teacher. I instructed there. I became a director there. I became like a main stage player pretty quickly. And then like 2016, 2017, 2018, I did that pretty much. Like I was there 4 nights a week, like improvising, learning. I did rehearsals. I taught there. I performed there 2 nights a week. It was a lot. But I really
that when you started to realize, and you're like, man, fuck this IT shit, man. Let me.
100%. Yeah. That's. I mean, in Miami, it's hard to just make full-time career doing comedy. Period. Or doing acting period.
So
but
of
course. So because that happened, and I was like, I kind of want to dedicate myself, even if I consider this my second job. And I just kind of like thought of that mentality, like comedy is my second job right now. But I started thinking of it as my first job, and then my actual job. Hopefully no one's hearing this from my actual job. I thought of it as like, my secondary gig is how I thought about it. Just so I could
because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, where you're making more art or whatever. It's whatever you're more passionate about.
Exactly. So I was super passionate about.
That's a completely valid perspective.
Of course, and to anyone that ever wants to like try it, I think you got to change your mentality without having the risk of getting fired. Obviously, still do a mediocre job at your job, but
just enough to keep it going.
Just enough. But at the same time, if you're passionate about something and you're not able to work in that something just yet, then obviously like you gotta think of it in that way, that it's like your main priority, whether it's comedy, improv, acting, modeling, whatever it may be.
Right. Well, at this point you're so young, you're like 21, 22, 23. What did your parents think that like you're studying to do this IT thing and now you're slowly going towards the entertainment side?
Mm-hmm. At first they were a little bit like, they always knew that I was like kind of like I had this acting thing and comedy inside me. Like I was always like the clown. I never really.
You're like, my kid is such an attention whore. He's not gonna. No,
I mean, I'm the biggest whore for attention. If for anything, really. Yeah, no, for sure. So even since I was a kid, like there's home videos of me just like performing to, just like my parents just recording me secretly of me like dancing and eating crap and just talking like with the puppets and stuff. So I was just always that. I always did that stuff, and so it wasn't really a surprise to them, I guess, that I liked that. But obviously they were like, protect your job, whatever. Obviously we, slowly but surely they came to my shows. They liked them. They enjoyed them because I also did shows in Spanish. They don't really speak that much English. So they slowly but surely, like, they were very supportive. I'm not gonna lie. They've to this day, they're even more supportive than ever. They see the grind that I put into this stuff, and they're obviously super happy with anything that's going right for me at the moment, even when it was just improv.
I think with parents, it's like, especially when you're like in entertainment and that sort of stuff. I think as soon as you start to see the dedication that you have towards it, then it's like, oh fuck, my kid is like, trying. You know, it's not just let me go up there and like do whatever, and then you know, because well, for my parents it was sort of the same way. Just because like nobody in my family was like in entertainment, so they didn't, and you know, and it's such a niche sort of industry. So like everybody knows a doctor, their doctor, everybody knows a lawyer, everybody knows a cop, but nobody knows TV, radio, comedian people. You know, so it's like who do you relate to? You know, but yeah, it was the same thing. As soon as my parents, because at some point I stopped going to school, so I would just focus on radio and TV and that sort of stuff. And it wasn't until I gave my parents a tour of my job, and they started meeting all my bosses, and they were like, "Oh fuck, this kid's for real."
Oh yeah,
because before it was like, yeah, at first they were like, "Oh, you're just doing that so you can like fool around the rest of the day," but it's like, no,
this is actual work here.
Yeah, it's like no, I actually work here, Mom. It's like the Emmy trophy's right here, Mom. I don't know what you think I do.
That's awesome, dude. What is that Emmy for? I wanted to ask you. I don't know if you've told me, but I don't remember right now.
Oh no,
I'm sure you like to say it whenever somebody asks you, "What is this Emmy for?" Oh well.
Oh well, let me tell you. Actually, yeah. No. It's So aside from the stuff that I do with radio, I also work with Telemundo, and I do. I'm a sports producer there. So yeah. So for the World Cup in 2018, we won an Emmy for outstanding live sports coverage in Spanish.
Nice.
And then I was able to get one of these as a producer, so that was cool.
Nice.
And then I think as soon as I got this, and at the same time I was still like in community college. So by the time I got this, I was like, I don't think I need this number.
No, I mean, if you have an Emmy when you're 19, there's no way you could.
No, it was nuts because I'd be in like multimedia class or whatever they make you take.
And you're like, I have an Emmy. Yeah.
It's like my professor, he's like super sweet guy, but the guy was old as dirt. Like that, like if he sneezed, call 911.
He might have. Oh wow. Okay. That's a multimedia professor.
It was like that. So we'd be doing stuff, and I'd be doing my stuff like my way, like how they taught me at work. And then he'd come and he'd be like, "Well, that's not the way that the textbook sort of indicates to do stuff like that." And I was like,
was he from Texas, or this is just the old person that he just kind of became this person?
He's just an old ass man. Couldn't be from Texas. He was American.
Got it.
He was American.
Got it.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then I just go, "My man, that's how they taught me at work." And he goes, "Yeah, but this is my class." And I could have been a dickhead and been like, "Oh yeah?" Pulls out the Emmy from the backpack.
Pull it from your book bag.
Well, I got this.
That's pretty good, man. I'm sure he doesn't have an Emmy. So.
But yeah, it wasn't until I kind of showed my parents what I do and how it works, and that like my job isn't a fucking circus. That they were like, "Okay, you're good," you know, like.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
And it's good because there's so many. And it's cool because like so many people don't get that sort of support from the parents, you know, especially when they're in entertainment. It's so hard. It's rough.
It is, especially from Hispanic parents. It's usually not as easy because they see it, and I understand it. Like I understand completely whenever my parents did give me any crap for it because, you know, they come to this country, they think of it as like, you know, it is the land of dreams, but it's also the land of opportunity, so you can work like that. So whenever you're seeing,
that's the same exact thing I told my parents when we were having like our fourth argument about it. And they're like, "But this is the land of opportunity." I go, "Yeah," and look at
that's why I'm trying to take this opportunity.
Right. I gotta take it, no? And then they knew that I got them, so they were just like,
right.
But what about?
Right.
But continue. You were saying.
No, it's exactly what I was saying. It's same thing. The same exact situation. Like I understand why parents would think that way. Like they're like, we work so hard. We literally left a whole country. We left our lives for you, and now you're just throwing it away and not getting a master's degree so you can go out and just be a clown. That's how my parents probably saw it. So they're like, okay, cool. And I understand that, and the fact that like when they see the amount of stuff that I've done, and whenever they're able to come to my shows, whenever I show them a little sketch, even that little accent stuff, whenever I see them smile, I see them laughing, and then I'm like, okay, they get it. You know, they don't have to tell me for me to know they get it, but now I know they get it. Especially when my dad's like, "Oh, you should do a skit about this." My father is telling me that. I'm like,
right.
"Oh,
no." The other day, my dad, because he runs his own business, whatever, so he's always like all over the place.
Right.
And he calls me out of nowhere, and he goes, "Fer," and I go, "Hey, Dad, how are you?" And he doesn't answer. He doesn't respond. He just goes, "What's your Instagram? What's your Instagram? What's your Instagram?" And I give him my Instagram. And he goes, "Okay, look, hey, yo, I'm with my boy. He's one of my friend's sons. And he does music." And I'm like,
oh boy,
I know where this is going.
And he wants you to put his music in the radio.
Exactly. So he goes, you should like listen to like what he does, and like maybe you like the music. Mm-hmm. He's right here. You can go talk to him. And I'm like, oh, bro. So the guy goes,
here we go.
Hey, what's up? How's it going? And I'm like, how do I get out of it? So I just go, I'm working. Bye. Boom. But then I was like, it's so ironic because it went from like, why are you doing this? To like,
and now your dad is telling you.
I just got you an interview. Do you want to do it? And I had to tell him, I was like, Dad, like, this isn't how it works. Like, you can't be doing that, yo.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, they'll never understand.
No, he's like, in his head, he's like my unofficial manager. So there's been times where he's like, so my friend's daughter, she does clothes, and you do radio and like, you know, Instagram, so maybe you like give them shout out. I go, okay. He goes, what is it? He goes, it's women's clothes.
One of my kids I got women's clothes in my Instagram. Yeah.
Right. So I go and I'm trying to like walk him through it so he understands that like he's not making sense. So then I go, why would I promote women's clothes? I don't wear that. And he's like, and I try to explain, I go, and when we do shout outs, it's either we get money for it, or the least thing they can do is at least send you a little something.
Right.
What am I gonna do with some random girl's clothing?
True.
And so I go, Dad, so if you know something happens, I have to you have to pay me. That's how it works.
Right.
And he goes, oh well, I don't think they have like money for that. I was like, that's not my problem.
Right.
But he goes, but maybe they make like men's clothes in future. I go, okay, so hit me up in the future. I don't what. So I don't blame him because
I mean, this girl now is making men's clothes just for you. I hope you know that. Now she's gonna make men's clothes just for you, so you can promote her.
Exactly. That's the hope.
No, it might be some dope clothing. That's a good little segue to promote the shirt I'm wearing. So I'm just gonna promote it just because, like, might as well.
Go ahead. This is what this is for. Promote your shit. Yeah.
It's not even my shit. It's just like these people. It's from this company called La Plena, Miami. La Plena Miami. At Instagram, La Plena Miami, and they have these super dope shirts. They send me like 4 of them. They're super dope. They fits really nicely. They're like Miami based. There's like one that says Vibras. There's another one that has like a little domino thing. There's like one that says Nunca Papi, Siempre en Papi. A bunch of different. It's super dope.
Oh, that's nice.
Siempre Papi, Nunca en Papi. It's really dope. They have a really good merch up there. So check them out. I'm just gonna say it's like they were super kind enough to send me this, so I just want to shout them out. Since we were talking about merch, I found the nice little segue. You know, math with words here. Math with words.
You're smart. Let's put you on TV. That was perfect. That was a great segue. That was a great segue.
Put me right next to Dr. Ana Maria Polo, and I'll be happy. That's all.
I love it when broadcasters. I love it when broadcasters go. And speaking of
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say it that way. I was like, let me make this more organic. You know?
No, that was good. That was good because a lot of broadcasters, they feel really cool when they do that. So they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so cool. And in reality, it's like,
well, it's like comedians when they segue into stuff too. You know, it's like just kind of like, speaking about this, let's talk about this. You know, it's that same type of situation. It's a segue transition.
How do you speaking of comedy?
Yeah. See, we're so good, man.
Segue.
So good.
How do you what's your process like sort of when you're writing? Because I feel like your comedy, it's like it's very you do a really good job of making it seem like it's not written out. And that's and that's a skill that takes a lot of maturity, because it's either two things. It's either comedians think, especially new ones, well, majority of the comedians in the Miami scene were, a lot of them are new, you know, it's not a lot of like vets like that. But what I see a lot sometimes is like, it's either comedians that are like, oh, I already know what to say, and then they're rambling for like 30 seconds trying to go on to the next word, or it's comedians that they focus too much on the writing
and it sounds too robotic.
And then they miss a word, and then like
the joke falls flat.
Exactly. So their brain like uncomputes because they're like, I missed the dog.
They actually say it. My least favorite thing that some of us do, and I've done it myself, is like, oh, I messed that word up, never mind. And then they just say it. Like, that's just how they end the joke. And it's like, well, don't give them the secret sauce even if you fucked up the sauce. Just like, pretend the sauce is there. Like, pretend you dipped it and that's what you meant. You know, like, don't call yourself out on that. Like, you know.
Right. So what's your process like? Because I think you do such a good job of making it sound natural.
Thank you. Well, like I was saying, I started through improv, right? So my background with comedy was improv until 2018, and in 2018 I was like, you know, I'm gonna dip my foot into stand-up because like I feel like that's the way you can make money through comedy. Not that improv is, you know, great, but I started thinking of improv more as a tool rather than like a career. Some people do have careers in improv, but
it's a good base.
It's a great base.
Good base. Because if you're
everything, go ahead.
No, I was saying if you're good at improv, anything else that comes at you, you know how to handle it. You're not gonna have those moments where you hear a heckler and then you're like,
nah. Hell, dude, I love that. I love when those moments happen because you can throw some. That's when I feel like I'm able to shine the most because I'm able to like. I don't roast people, but you know, it's like there's a level of like improv that you're kind of, when it comes to dealing with a heckler, that you're roasting them or whatever. Anyway, it's all I'm saying is like there's ways around it. The way that I work through my stand-up, I don't really do as much improv anymore because improv is kind of dead right now. There's like 18 theaters that have closed, so it's like it's a little insane. But you know, there's a lot of because it is an art form that you need to be with like 4 or 5 people at the same time in the same place in the same theater. So COVID doesn't really allow that. But I mean, improv is my first love when it came to comedy, but because I started through improv and I started implementing, started doing stand-up in 2018, late 2018, I slowly started to write material. I do have a ton of material that I write. Half of it is not good, but it's still, I do write my own material. Like my book, my little notebook is like filled with like just random stuff that I do end up writing, and it's like goes from, it's disgustingly written, but it is all jokes that I'm able to like.
I love that. I love that. I used to do the same thing. And then I went to typing because I started realizing I was getting so lazy when I was writing. I couldn't read anything. Yeah. So
I've done that. I have like a little Excel spreadsheet with all my jokes, and I have like a rate of how good the joke. I'm a little OCD, so I have like I do think of it as math with words, and I have like a little Excel spreadsheet that I have like the category of the joke. If I think it's a joke that's an anecdote, if I think the joke is just a one-liner, if I think the joke is more of like a closer, if I think it's an opener. And I have like the rates of how good I think the joke is doing, and I'll change that rate depending on how the joke has grown. So I'm a little meticulous with that, which is interesting because I do make it feel like it's the total opposite of that when I'm on stage. And I do that exactly, and I do that because I try to practice. If I go through these open mics and I do these shows, I go and I try to practice that same set for even a month. Just like even if I'm just practicing it within different places, like I put different jokes where they go, but I try to practice things in sets for three weeks. Let's say it doesn't necessarily need to mean a month, but I work that set out. I try to see where the jokes are working, placing it there, and then in between, I try to make it seem natural by interacting with the audience and by talking through them, asking them a question, making it seem like I'm jumping off their point, but I already have an answer for the 3 different answers that I'm going to get. So I'm just trying to work it that way, makes it feel natural. That's the little math that I'm talking about. So then I know if they said this, I know what answer I'm going to say that I already wrote that joke for if that answer was said. and then I make it feel, I go through it that way. Then I go, and obviously I'm a little animated, like you can tell. So I make it seem like everything is just like a rant, or it's coming out of me, like if it's like just like emotions that are coming out. And a lot of the time I do improvise a lot of my set, and I just know the setup and the punchline, and all of it is kind of just like a snake that I sneak my way in through it. But I know where my starting point is, I know where my ending point is, so everything in between I kind of think of it, as long as I hit these words, everything can just be like, I can just kind of drive through and like be like on cruise control in a sense. So
yeah, I think about it the same way. So like when I write stuff out, when I first figure it out, and I'm like, oh, I think this would be good to start working out. I write it all just because for me, it's a good memorization sort of 100%. Exercise.
Yeah.
You know? But then as soon as I have that done, I do what you do. I hit points. That way I don't, it doesn't happen like what happens to a lot of people where like I miss a word and I'm already like, I didn't say the, oh fuck. Thank you guys. Right. Y'all been great.
Right. And then everybody's like, this guy sucked. Like, what? He couldn't remember his own joke? He wrote it. Yeah.
Yeah. People are like, what the fuck just happened? So
exactly.
I think, well, for me, I think radio has helped a lot because like I'm used to like, okay,
you're live.
Talk. Right.
Yeah.
Go talk. Okay, cool. I know how to somewhat do
I know how to talk.
I know how to talk. Yeah. You know, do you have any go-tos when hecklers start being assholes? I have one.
Yeah.
I would try to get really smart with it.
I do. I've gone through different phases, but yeah.
No, there are times where I like at the beginning I liked to be really smart with it so I can show my prowess. But then I was like, fuck that. Like it got to a point where there was like 1 week where it was just consistently just somebody had some drunk fuck had to say something. And I would just go to a point, I'd just be like, shut the fuck up. And everybody would die. Everybody would, because it was just, I don't know, I guess bad words. I don't know. But
bad words will definitely get you through fucking anything. So
yeah, but here's the thing. I don't like, I hate it when comedians are like today I woke up from my fucking bed and then I went to the fucking couch and then I put it and then it's like, dude, chill. No. The bad word works when you use it once or twice because of course it's gonna work. It's a bad word, everybody laughs, you know. But I think a lot of, especially new comedians, are like, oh, well, I said fuck and people laughed. So let me just like keep saying it, you know?
Dude, I used to curse up a fucking storm.
I used to listen because I was like, this is what cool comedians do. And I was like, no.
Dude, I used to curse up a storm like crazy. I removed, and I still do, just because I do it without noticing. Like I don't do it because I wrote the joke in it. I do it because I might be like in such a mood on stage.
Yeah.
And people always like, whenever I get off stage, it's like, all right, that guy was on coke or whatever, because I really do put everything into it. And I just kind of like really own like I try to just make it as comedians do. You know, like commit to whatever you wrote, commit to whatever it is that your style is. So I do that too. And then, you know, it sort of became this thing where like, I don't know, when it came to hecklers and when it came to cursing, like it sort of became second nature for me to curse. But I slowly started noticing like when it came to a joke, I would take out the curse word. So at least I wouldn't know to say it. But if it was through like, if I said it maybe because I improvised through that set, or maybe I was just freestyling through it, like I don't blame myself for that. But if I'm, you know, I kind of just take out those bad words in my jokes now whenever I write them, just so I don't have to rely on them as much as I used to. You can see my old, just like I said, like fucking shit and all this dick stuff. Like it's just like a lot of comedians that are male usually start with just a bunch of dick jokes and fucking shit.
Dick jokes. It's always what I've noticed, right? It's always dick jokes, all the bad words,
traffic jokes.
I get pussy. That's a big one. A lot of comedians like to talk about how they get pussy and like how it was like a bad time,
or how they don't get pussy,
right? But sometimes it's like you got to live the game. Like I don't know if you're like I'm a fan of pro wrestling, and in wrestling there's this thing it's called you got to live the gimmick. So like if you're this like chick magnet, whatever, you got to look like you're a fucking chick magnet, right? You got to, in order for them to believe, like in acting, you know what I'm saying? You got to like the role. So like sometimes when like some of these comedians are talking about like, oh yeah, and I was eating ass the other day, ha ha ha, because I'm so ridiculous.
I'm like, buddy, your fucking shoe is broken. What are you talking about?
I go, brother, I know you get it, no play, bro. Come on now. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's why one thing I always look for is like authenticity. You know, obviously in comedy, you elevate stuff, and obviously stuff gets exaggerated. But I'm not gonna talk about stuff that I don't do. You know, just so I mean, sound like ridiculous. It's like no,
sure.
You know,
no, truth in comedy first is what I learned. Like in improv, there's this book called Truth in Comedy, which you learn it, and it's it's like real life is funny enough. So like whenever I say like, it's funny because when I try to make up a joke that's not real, I don't get the laughs that I do when I say legit real stories that I just added a little punchline here and there. You know, which is kind of what a lot of my comedy is. I try to make it as not anecdotal as possible, but I don't do like one-liners. I'm more of like I'll make something that happened and I'll expand on as much on that as I can.
Yeah, you want the audience to take away something from it other than, oh, he was funny, you know?
Right.
Because even though the punchlines work and you'll get a ha-ha and you'll get a hey here, they'll finish it. But then the audience will be like, yeah, he was funny, but I didn't take away anything from that.
You don't even remember anything from it. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Even if it is something that's like, it's not like you're coming out with a message like, you know, at the end of the day, we all need to love each other. It's not that. It's just that something that's memorable enough that like I have this joke right now where I just realized I still never answered your heckler question, but I'll get to it. No, but there's this joke right now that I have that I'm closing with. That's like, I'm not gonna say the joke, but it's pretty much like about Colombian girls and how they like always try to make you jealous. Because I've dated a lot of Colombian girls and I always feel like they're always trying to get you jealous. And they always, and with their accent, it makes it worse because they're like saying it in such a sexy way. They're like, "Ta celoso," and that, like the way they say "ta celoso," that vibe.
Yeah, Colombian accents are they're really big. Like a Colombian chick could tell me, I think you're fucking hideous and you smell like filth. And I'll be like,
I'll still like hit her up. I'll be like, hey, you're beautiful. You're so hot.
I'll still be like, okay, but say that again, please. Can you say that?
Right. That's exactly what I'm saying. That Colombian accent gets me. So even when they're like, oh, "Estás celoso," like I'm like, it's like I'm not even jealous. I'm horny. You know, like that's the vibe. But I say there's like a whole thing with this joke, and like it's like literally a 5-minute bit that I have right now. And the punchline is like, instead I flip and I say like "celosa," and I flip it on the girl. That's like the whole story. But the point is that the end of the shows, people always, it doesn't fail that people now come up to them, they're like, "Ta celoso, ta celosa." So it's like something that's memorable. I'm gonna make shirts with this "ta celosa" stuff because it's been working for the past like 2 months. Hey, Bert,
you gotta play chess, not checkers. You know how
you gotta play chess, bro. So. But dude, so that's what I'm saying. They're leaving with something. They're not leaving with like, oh, Colombian girls suck. They're leaving with like the idea of like, oh, this guy's been through some stuff. Yeah, like, but he's able to make it funny. Like his life, he's able to turn it funny and make it into comedy or whatever. Which is like, as a comedian, what you should do, and it comes off authentic because it is stories that actually happen. It is things that are true. You know, I'm not just saying it just so I can be like, this is like, yes, I'm a comedian. This is joke. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like, it kind of does come off that way. So I agree with you. Like authenticity definitely trumps anything else. That's like, even if it's such a well-crafted joke, I think who you are on stage is what people kind of look for, as opposed to like if your joke is if you have a 3-point story or whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, and I believe that 1,000% because when I was starting off in radio, and I bring this mentality from radio because it's like when you are a TV host, you're sort of playing a character. Right.
Yeah, in a sense, yeah.
Yeah, you know, when you're on TV, obviously when you're acting, when you're in a movie, you're playing a character. And when you're on TV, and even if you're like a talk show host, there's the lights, there's the makeup, there's the you know, the band, the expensive suit, whatever. There's a disconnect. You're not relatable. Yes. Okay, Jimmy Fallon says something funny, but there's a disconnect because I'm Fer in my room doing a show, and that's Jimmy Fallon in New York. There's a disconnect, right?
And 30 Rock with a bunch of writers that wrote the joke for him that he's
exactly.
Just
But in radio, the one thing that for me made radio so special, and I think continues to make radio so special, is that it's like, it's me, you know? it's more to the.
You're the personality. You are who.
Exactly. It's more to the message. So like there are times where you meet listeners and they talk to you like if you guys are friends, but this is the first time you've met them because it's like, damn, I've said so much about my fucking life that they're out here asking me about like my dating life and shit like that. And it's like,
how's your date? And you're like, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, wait, what do you mean? It's like, oh fuck, I said that.
I did talk about that. Yeah.
So and so ago. So I brought that mentality to radio, to comedy. That's when I started doing stand up because only the best radio hosts are the ones that make you feel like you're their friend. You know,
right?
You know, so that's why a lot of like, you'll get callers and they'll talk to you like if they're like your cousin, and it's like, wait, but I've never met you before. Why are you so? Why do you feel so comfortable with me? But it's because it's so one-on-one. You know,
yeah, and you're kind of just like it's like a friend. It's like that's why podcasts are so popular right now.
Right,
way more popular than like late night shows, and they're getting way more views on YouTube because of it. Because you're just going through it and you're talking as you're just being you. You're just it's like radio shows, but for anyone.
Exactly.
That's kind of yeah.
No, continue.
That's kind of the vibe that these podcasts kind of like have done for people, whether it's comedians or whoever. Like everybody's just kind of able to just feel. That's why people relate to these people because they kind of look for something they can latch onto as listeners. And then because it's like you're just being you in this podcast in the most honest version of you, it kind of works out in your favor that way.
How's it been for you and your podcast? Let us know. Where can we listen?
Yeah, so I have a podcast with Albie Dominguez, my friend Albie. Me and him actually started doing stand-up. You know Albie. Yeah, he's so funny. Me and Albie started doing improv together. Well, I was doing it before he joined in, like a year and a half or two after I started. I was in the theater, but he's the one who pushed me to do stand-up, actually. Started doing stand-up, and we've always had this like really cool. We're very different, but we just like this similar things when it comes to like comedy, which is a lot of random stuff, like Adult Swim type stuff. That's very like random Eric Andre type of vibe.
Yeah.
So we always like kind of like connected through that. And me and him started doing Dr. Bros, which is the name of our podcast. Neither of us are doctors. We're not brothers, but it just felt like we just called it Dr. Bros because it was funny. It just was like a funny name. And we started that as an improv show. It was a duo show where me and him would like pretend to be podcast hosts and we would help people out. We would like sit there and be like super broy, like, yo, what the fuck is up, everybody? Get the fuck over here. Like that.
That's hilarious.
And then we would talk to people like if we were radio hosts, but we were asking them about their problems. So we'd be like, well, what's your problem? Like, what's a problem you're dealing with? And we'd give them the worst advice possible. Like, it was just like, but as these characters, because we were just improvising through it. So if anybody asked, like, oh yeah, I'm like, my boyfriend, I think he's cheating on me, would be like, cheat on him back and then see what happens. Like, very like, just bro. You know what I mean?
That's
so that was the idea that we had
right there. Yeah,
it is good advice. Like, if you cheat first, then you will know how it feels, and then you'll see if they are. Exactly. No, but anyway, so we would do that. But then we were like, why don't we just do this as a real thing during quarantine? We're like, let's just do it. Let's just put our heads together and just like actually make a podcast happen. And it's been great. We only have 4 or 5 episodes out right now. It's on Spotify. You can find it at Dr. Bros with Carlos and Ali. And pretty much what the podcast is, we're kind of just we're starting to eventually have guests too, so we can do that sort of play that I talked to you about, like helping people out with like worst advice type of thing. But right now we're kind of like, we just have conversations where we do help each other out. But we're just talking through it. We improvise a lot of the things we say, like we become the characters and we jump back in and out of characters. Like if we're talking about like his mom and then like something that happened, I'll become his mom, like, Albie, why did you do that? And then like it's really fun, and it's like it's very high energy, but it feels like a lot of ranting, but in between it's like it comes from a place of like we're just 2 dudes that are just friends, but we also become like an elevated version of ourselves that we also like dig down into it, and then we like get emotional with it but make it funny again. So it's a lot of fun. To me, it's like a roller coaster every single time that we do it.
When you're done recording an episode, do you feel like you're like okay, that means you're doing a good job. That's how you know you're doing a good job. You put everything in.
And I tell him that I'm like, dude, I'm exhausted. I literally was at his house recording this 2 days ago. We recorded our latest one. which is insane, and I have to edit a lot of it because like we said some stuff that probably shouldn't be out. But we just went all out with it. We kind of want to do just like as much as possible, and then if we do have to take things out, we will. But we try to keep it as organic as possible. And yeah, I literally was exhausted that I fell asleep on his couch like an hour after, and I like woke up and went home. But we recorded in his apartment. Yeah, literally, I was like that. I was like, this was a lot because every time, since we don't perform improv right now, and we like he's like a little bit like COVID scared sometimes, so he doesn't really go out into the mics as much.
Yeah.
This feels like, you know, our 1 hour and sometimes hour and a half of performance.
Oh, I feel you, brother. Yeah, I know exactly how that feels. Yeah.
Yeah, of course you got that. You've been doing this for forever. You're doing it now. But
Yeah.
if it's that feeling, and the fact that it's two of us, we're able to bounce off each other a lot. So it's not really like we're interviewing each other. We're kind of just like we're riffing. We're sort of riffing. It sort of feels like it is like two. I don't know if you've seen what is this show with oh my God, Dave Attell and Jeff Ross called Bumping Mics. It came out on Netflix recently. Yeah, so Dave Attell and Jeff Ross were two comedians, but they did this show where it was two of them, and they would like bump mics on stage, and they're kind of just improvised through jokes and roast people, and it's really, really fun. And it kind of has that feel to it. It's a lot of fun. It's also very Miami, very, very random, very interesting. It's a little different than what a lot of people are doing, so I'm kind of proud.
What do you as we're wrapping up, what do you think of the Miami, the crowd, Miami crowds? They're tough.
Miami crowds, man. Yeah, sometimes they're tough. I'm not gonna lie. At the beginning, I felt like it was a lot. You know what's tougher though? For someone like me, it feels like Broward crowds can be a little bit tougher, in my opinion.
Yeah, because you're especially like when we try to bring like Hispanic stuff in Broward, that's kind of the
they don't get it. So it's just kind of like goes over their head. You kind of gotta flip it. But like that joke that I said about like the Colombian girls, you can still flip that and just say jealous and make it like, oh, white girl, and like you can still flip those. That's kind of what I do when I go to Broward. Just adjust to it, but it is sort of harder. Miami audiences, dude, they're a blast. Like in my opinion, they can be hard when it's some bars, but I think it's because I'm just that crazy, and maybe they think I'm on coke like they are, but I'm not. And they like kind of like, oh, this guy's great. This guy's having a great time up there. So, which I try to have. Like when I did the Miami improv show for Only in Dade like 2 weeks ago, oh my God, dude. It was like such an incredible time. I felt like I was on cloud nine because everybody was just dying through everything. It was just erupting laughter after laughter. It just didn't stop. And it was just like the support was there. And I think it's in part because of like that Only in Dade community is so strong that whoever follows that page and went to that show is like, we're gonna like it anyway, or like we're just gonna laugh through it.
Yeah, no,
but they're also a tough crowd. Like if you see
I think that's a good thing because whenever the crowd is up for it, they're really good, and it's a really good crowd. Yeah. But there are times where like you can tell they're not about it today, or like when it's like a bar show or something like that, and the people there aren't there for comedy necessarily.
That's the thing.
That's the thing. It is rough because there are times where you notice like Gold Digger Saloon. Majority of the time,
or that,
they're there for the comedy night.
They are.
They know what they're expecting, so it's always nice because they know what to look for. But
but if you go to Red Bar and it's like 18 guys trying to fuck, and there's some guy on stage, they're not gonna.
You go to Red Bar and the whole night is just like, why are you guys here? Laugh at something.
Yeah. Please. It's just it's insane. I mean, you got to go through that, but my God, every time I go to Red Bar, it doesn't feel like once or twice it happens and you go early, but it doesn't feel that it's just and then you're just there like anyway, and you're just like kind of have to scream so that you can be heard. I kind of just end up grabbing the mic and like going around with it just to like make it more engaging when something like that happens. Right. But as far as Miami crowds, man, they've been great. I've been super blessed to be able to do these book shows recently, and they are there for comedy, so it does feel like whether it's at the Improv or like the Umbrella or these other different venues that are made for comedy and there are still having shows right now, it's been lit. I'm not gonna lie. I think Miami has missed comedy a little bit, so I'm glad they're there and they're
what's next? What's your goal? Where do you see yourself?
Man, that's another good question for you grabbed me there.
Hey,
honestly, man, I'm just kind of writing this. I was at one point thinking of moving to LA before LA went to crap.
True.
And I'm super thankful, to be honest, that like the lines have aligned for me to stay in Miami. Like I'm thankful to be working with Only on Date people. Super glad to be a part of that team. I'm doing those only on the spot interviews. If you haven't seen them, check them out.
Yeah, no, those are hilarious. I love those.
Yeah, we just kind of bring out like the people in Miami and just ask them questions and see their answers, and they'll go through them. Which a lot of like the improv that I've had from before kind of like fed into that. But yeah, I'm super glad to be working with them. I have a little thing that's coming out soon in February. I can't say what it is yet, but we're gonna be pretty. If everything pans out well, it's gonna be on national TV and it's gonna be pretty dope. I can't say what it is just yet, but I was in LA filming that in December. So follow my page, look out for that.
Comedy based, like
it's comedy based. Yeah, it's comedy based. It's gonna be pretty freaking dope, and it's gonna let me stay in Miami even more because of the type of thing it is. I can't even tell you what it is, but just look out for it. It comes out, whatever comes out. I think on Valentine's Day, but it might be after. It might be a little bit like 3 weeks after. I'm not really sure exactly when it will come out, but that's coming out in February. So I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, I keep looking forward to, I'm blessed to be able to have the platform that I have now, as little or as big as it is, to keep on growing it, to keep on making more sketches, keep on following through with my podcast, with Albie, keep on creating more, and just eventually keep on doing this, getting more commercials. I've done commercial. I was able to like be in a commercial with Pitbull September.
That was crazy. Which was
dope.
I remember you posted on your Instagram, and then I think I was watching like Friday Night SmackDown or some shit.
Yeah, it came out a bunch of like ESPN and It came out like in like the NBA finals and stuff. It was super crazy.
It was the finals.
Yeah.
It was the finals. And I go, and then I remember you posted about it, and then I'm watching TV, and then like 10 minutes later, your face pops up, and I'm like,
yeah, dude, super nuts. I didn't expect that thing to go that far, but it was dope, and I was able to beat Pitbull, and that was super cool. So those type of opportunities. That's why I'm saying Miami keeps on grabbing me, man.
How was Pitbull? How tight are the pants?
Oh my God, amazing! How tight are the pants?
Tight.
Honestly, as tight as mine. If you ever see me wear pants, they're quite as tight. But no, man, Pitbull's such a good dude. So freaking cool. He was such a pleasure. Like I was able to joke around with him. We sat on a table for a few hours because we were just there waiting. You know how on a set, it's a 10-hour shoot, and you're just sitting there, kind of waiting for action and for you to say what your lines are. But he was super nice, super grateful to be there. And he was able to like joke around with me. I was joking with him. He was joking with me, and yeah, it was a really cool experience. So anything of that nature that I could keep working on and keep on putting Miami on the map, I'd be super grateful to do, whether it's through acting, comedy, or any other sort of entertainment venue. Absolutely.
That's dope, brother. The best is yet to come. I love seeing everything is happening to you right now. And what I like the most is that it's happening I love it when good things happen to good people. And you are one of them, brother. Congratulations on all your success.
Thank you, bro. I really appreciate it.
Your commercials, this thing you got going out, coming soon that you can't really talk about.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that now.
I'll talk about it. We can do another one of these when it comes out.
Of course. We'll push it everywhere. You know me, but I love talking to you.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely hilarious. Where can they follow you? Let us know. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, your podcast.
Sure, man. You can follow me on Instagram at Carlos, CAHRLOS, CAH in the middle, RLOS, so like a silent H. And then you can follow me on TikTok. It's the same thing, CAHRLOL, because S was taken, so I just put LOL. You can follow me on Twitter at the same username, CAHRLOL. And you can follow my podcast at Dr. Bros Pod. You can find it on Spotify at Dr. Bros with Carlos and Albie. And yeah, you can go to my website, carloshernandezlive.com. Whenever I have future dates for shows, I'm putting those up there. I'm trying to be as legit as I can be, and I'm trying to.
Well, that's how you know that's next. Hey, website is next level, baby. That's just next level.
Yeah, man. GoDaddy.com, help me out, and that's out there.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for coming on.
Absolutely. Thank you. Appreciate you, man. Cool. Appreciate it.